Hello makeshifters! Today we're making lead dumbbells, and it's going to be good skill to learn to keep making better lures. There are many different kinds of dumbbells out there. Let's say like this one with painted eyes. Just a plain silver one that is being laid out of a piece of brass, probably nickel plated. Another silver plain one with little sockets for eyes, but they all made out of metal, and all of them I have to buy in the shop. So when I run out, I have to go to the shop, buy them. They might have the right size or the right color or the right diameter. So I always wondered, how can I make a dumbbell eye out of lead and have different diameters and have easy access to them and be able to make them whenever I want? And I believe I come up with a way. All we need is a lead cylinder, and once we have that, we'd be able to make it into a dumbbell eye. The easiest way to make a lead cylinder is to drill a hole in the wood and pour it with lead. Make sure the wood is dry before pouring lead into it, otherwise lead will explode. I don't want to drill all the way through, because when we pour the lead will come out the other side then. So I want to drill about 13 millimeters, leaving a little bit at the back so the lead can flow in and stay there. Let me see. Yeah, that's okay. Melting lead is dangerous. You need goggles, mask and gloves. Do it outside, or like me in a shed that's well ventilated. Pouring lead cylinders into wood, it's a quick and easy solution, but it can be tedious to get them out of that wood sometimes. So I was looking for a more permanent solution to make the cylinders. And you can do it in two ways. So one way you can do it, if you just get a pair of pliers that you no longer need, you'll just drill a hole the diameter that you need to make the dumbbell eye. So then when you pour the lead, you'd be able to open it up and you will be left with the lead cylinder. And just by accident, I was at home looking at my lure making desk and I saw this jig mold that I have. There is these areas here that are kind of not used. Here we go, that's the line, and now we get to transfer it on the top. There's the line on the inside, and that's the line on the top. So when I'm drilling a hole, I can see roughly the middle where it have to be, so I don't go too much to the right or the left. And if I just get this 4.5 mil drill bit and start drilling, there's a high possibility that I will go off track. Instead of starting with 4.5 mil drill bit, I'm going to start with the smallest one, 1.5 mil. I'm going to drill a little hole, then I'm going to switch to 2 mil, drill a little hole, switch to 2.5 mil, drill a hole to 3 mil, 3.5, 4 mil, and then finally I'm going to finish drilling with 4.5 mil. I have made it through. So guys, I have made quite a few holes in this mold, from 2.5 mil all the way up to 7 mil. So we're going to pour it. Here we go. These are the cylinders. This is the piece of wood that we used to pour the lead in. Let's try to get the lead out. These are the lead cylinders that we poured into wood, and these are the lead cylinders that we poured into our aluminium mold. Aluminium mold cylinders look smoother, but they are more costly and time consuming, as not everyone have aluminium molds. And the ones that we poured into wood, they look rougher, but it adds a nice texture to them. They should be just as good. Now that we trimmed them up a little bit, what we are left with is a lead cylinder. And if you can make a lead cylinder, you can make a dumbbell eye. All we have to do is give it a waist in the middle so we can tie it on the hook and the thread doesn't slip off, and then cut it to size on each side. What I have here is a crimping tool for making your own leaders for pike. And they have little grooves in them. And there's a small, medium and big. Pick a groove, squeeze the lead cylinder, and keep turning and pushing it slowly, and gradually give it a waist. And if you haven't got this crimping pliers, that's okay. Sometimes electrical pliers for stripping wires would have similar grooves in them. And if you haven't got this kind of crimping pliers or electrical pliers, that's no worries. You can make do with just your normal round nose pliers that you use for bending wire. Let me show you. But let's say if you just get your lead cylinder and start giving it a waist, it's very hard to control how far you're going to squeeze it, and what might happen, you might squeeze it all the way through and cut the lead. So what I will do, I will get a piece of metal, the thickness that I want, to stop the round nose pliers closing fully. In this case, these are scissors. They're around 1 or 1.5 mil thick. When I'm pushing it down, the round nose pliers can't close all the way. I'm going to get my groove started. And then once I feel that I have made a deep enough groove and they're about to close and cut the lead, I'll start doing it over this metal piece. This one came out quite skinny, so I would say I would probably need a thicker scissors or a thicker piece of metal. But that's just to show you guys. Making small dumbbell eyes is really easy. I just pick the smallest groove. When I'm making a bigger dumbbell eye, like this 5 millimeters that we poured into wood, I'm usually picking the groove at the back. And if I just start to mash down on the lead cylinder, it will leave uneven marks. So I like to get the groove started with the round nose pliers on the bigger dumbbell eyes and then continue with the crimping tool. The groove is started. Now we get to finish it with the crimping tool. On the bigger lead eyes, I like to get 3 millimeters and do a mark from the edge. So I filed the outside edge, and now I will file the inner edge where the groove starts. Also, guys, let's say if you didn't want to mess around with lead, drilling holes in wood and pouring it and melting the lead, what you can do is, this is a solder. It is 3 millimeters thick. This solder is 60% lead. It is going to be heavy. And it works the same way. Once you can cut a solder cylinder, you can make a dumbbell eye. And just like that, you have yourself a dumbbell eye out of a soldering wire. Lead eyes are ready. I have 7 millimeters, 6 millimeters, 5 millimeters, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, and 2.5 millimeters. That should cover all of my lure making needs. Let's check size and weight. 2.5 million diameter eye is 5 millimeters long. A 3 millimeters diameter eye is 6 millimeters long. 3.5 millimeter eye is 7 millimeters long. 4 millimeter eye is 8 millimeters long. 4.5 millimeter eye is around the same length, 9 millimeters. 5 millimeter eye is around 9 millimeters long. 6 millimeter eye is around 1 centimeter long. And 7 millimeter dumbbell eye is the biggest. It is 12 millimeters long. 7 millimeter eye weighs 3.8 grams. 6 millimeter weighs 2.2 grams. 5 millimeter weighs 1.6 gram. 4.5 millimeter weighs 1.05 gram. 4 millimeter eye weighs 0.7 of a gram. 3.5 millimeters weighs 0.5 of a gram. A 3 millimeter eye weighs 0.4 of a gram. 2.5 millimeter eye weighs 0.2 of a gram. Okay guys, it's time to test the lead dumbbell eyes on the hook. This is a 4 mil eye, and the waist on it, it's 1.5 millimeters thick. It did go on there pretty nicely. It didn't bend. I did put few wraps in. When I tug on it, it is secure there, it doesn't want to spin. I went crisscross wraps and then I went under. Seems to be all good. Let's see if I can break it. And the thing with the lead is, like any metal, bend it enough and it will break. Here we go, guys. I snapped it. So to avoid it from happening, don't bend it too many times. And also, now let me try the dumbbell eye with the thicker waist. And this is another 4mm lead dumbbell eye, but this time the waist on it is 2.2mm thick. This one can withstand a lot more pressure. Solid, I cannot move it and I cannot bend it. So if you made a bunch of those lead eyes and they're breaking on you, what you need to do is just give it a thicker waist and they should be ready to go. And lastly, let's try to test the dumbbell eye that we made out of a soldering wire. This is a 3mm dumbbell eye with a 1.5mm waist. Definitely this soldering wire eyes going nowhere. They would be stronger than lead eyes. And I have no worries about them breaking, even with a skinnier waist. After the eyes are made, you can just attach them as they are, and they will make a pretty good head on the lure. You can color them. You can also glue eyes onto the side of the dumbbell lead eye and color it at the bottom, let's say like a bleeding gill. You can make articulated fly with them, and then with a double loop you can build a nice head around them to make for good patterns like that I'm going to test in the future episodes. So makeshifters, thank you for watching. Hopefully you can use this technique to improve your fishing and lure making.